Okay, our long journey is coming to an end. This is the seventh round. It's the final pick of the Kwesi draft, and we're getting Ice Cube on in the, in the middle of it, which means, you know, beware the beware the copyright shit. Told me you're gonna copyright. Um, we still haven't taken a tight end, which I thought might even have been, a position we'd have looked at, maybe even on day two. Other than that, I guess we haven't taken like an interior defensive lineman. And here's the last pick. And the last pick is. The last pick is. And there's a tight end, Nick Muse out of South Carolina. So there's a tight end. Obviously, seventh round pick tight end would be a long shot to make the 53, but there's certain they don't even have any stuff to say about him. So that's it. That's the draft. I don't even know how many guys we ended up drafting. I know we came in with 8 picks, but then all the wheeling and dealing. What was it, like 5 trades, 6 trades by Kwesi? The tenor of the fan base seems to have mellowed quite a bit since that first night. People were just absolutely, just losing their minds that first night with the trade and the fact that we traded in the division, and then of course then day 2 we traded division again. But depending on what all the little charts that weighed the value of picks, and of course Kwesi's got his own, but all the little charts that are out there, at worst all the trades were basically a wash, and I think a couple of them we came out definitely on the big time winning end of. And ultimately that's not going to matter. What's going to matter is the draft pick. What's going to matter is the players themselves. And I'm sure even in the couple years I've done it like this, I'm sure there have been players we've taken that I've been real high on, and they haven't worked out. But look, as of now, just having directed these guys, I think we got some real good players. I really, really like the first round pick. I think Steen is going to be plug-in guy. He's going to be really fucking good. Definitely, this seems like we're really focusing on, like, other than like the linemen, we took like team speed. Like, want to be fast. We be a fast team. So that's probably not just Kwesi. That's like the coach's input. But I just really like the picks. I really like this pick, this running back that we got. I don't know. But from the top, I think the goal is to get 3 or 4 guys who could start. And it's pretty rare to have that many guys start right away. But I mean, I think Steen can start right away. Booth, we'll see. I think Ingram's going to certainly have a shot. He's certainly going to be in the mix to start. To start at right guard, and then linebacker Asamoah. I mean, there's openings there. Depend. I mean, there's going to be some 4-3. There's going to be some 3-4. So occasionally there's going to be 4 linebackers out there, and we got really about 2 with Kendricks, and whenever we put maybe Zadarius Smith out there as a linebacker. But there's snaps to be had. and I think he's going to have a shot. And then, like I said, I really like this running back that we got. I just really like it's just the highlights, and I know it's highlights, and the highlights look good for everybody. But I really like this. I think he can be, you know, a big time producer. Um, and then obviously the guys at the end. Most of the people taken today will be, you know, long shots to make the 53, but then they'll make the practice squad. Other than Evans, the cornerback, and Chandler, and then maybe the gopher we got, whose name escapes me at the moment, Otamawo. Yeah. So, but yeah, I like the draft. I think they did a good job of of hitting all the needs. Other than the only one I'd maybe say they didn't is tight end, because to me tight end was a little bigger need than draft one guy at the end of the 7th round. Or technically it's not the end of the 7th round, but they still have like 50 picks left with like comp picks and all this shit. I will not be watching that because I don't care. And I think the odds that we trade, we're not going to get any other picks. We're not going to suddenly trade. They're not going to they're not going to suddenly trade draft capital next year to get back into the 7th. And of course, the next thing will be, and these things always come out like the night of, the college free agents. I think the specialists are gonna we're gonna bring in some specialists. We're gonna definitely bring in, I think, a kicker and a punter for competition, and we'll probably go after some tight ends, receivers. We've added so much to the defense in this offseason that I don't know that there's that many spots left. But there's always going to be guys who are under consideration, and maybe even a quarterback. Like I could see them, going after if a quarterback goes undrafted, that they could be a developmental piece. Certainly not as a starter. I mean, who's the last undrafted quarterback who went on to be anything? Probably Romo, right? But they could maybe do something like that. I'm very glad also, just not just the guys that they picked, but that they didn't waste one of their earlier picks on a quarterback. I was so against that idea, and it's just more proof that yes, that they they really are believers in Kirk, and they should be. And I think he's going to flourish with an actual offensive coach this year. And both in the free agency and now in the draft, I think they've done a real good job of pumping some fresh talent into this damn defense. And not everybody's going to work out. Like I was high a year ago at this exact same time. Like, hey, look at these draft picks. Hey, look at some of these free agents that they picked up. We're going to be so much better, and they weren't. Now, I can't imagine we're going to have as many day 1, day 2, early day 3 draft picks who don't even see the field really, like we did this past year. Zimmer was like famous for just not wanting to play rookies. Even Justin Jefferson had trouble getting on the field, at the start. Go back some years. I mean, granted, he was a mid-round pick, but Diggs didn't even see the field for like 6 weeks. Like, I think that this is going to be a very different approach to how they bring along rookies. And I think if guys are, any of them, if they flash and they look like they're going to really be players, they're going to see the field. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be grades. I mean, each pick gets graded. I was looking on, CBS, and grading picks. About half our picks are like A's and half of them are C's, according to them. So who knows? And not everyone's going to work out. Like there's going to be, you want to hit on your first rounders most of the time, obviously, but you're not always going to. your day 2 picks you want to hit on at least 2/3 of the time, and you want to hit on your day 3 picks 40% of the time at least. And that's pretty much how that usually goes. But I like the players we took. I like the positions we took. We'll see. They'll probably be having rookie mini camp in the next couple weeks, and you'll be here soon. We're 3 months from training camp, maybe a little more than that. But I like what they've been doing in this off season and in this draft, and for all the freaking out about the trades and people just lobbing these vile insults towards Kwesi. I think especially for a guy doing this for the first time, I think he did a pretty damn good job. And we'll see. I think they got value for a lot of these picks and need, which is the best case scenario. And we'll see if they all pan out. They won't all pan out because they never do. I mean, we'd love it if every draft was 2015, but that just isn't how it works. But I like the players that we took. I believe that this coaching staff that we have in place now is going to be much better for building up young guys and developing them, because I don't that was part of the thing that spelled the end of Zimmer and Spielman too. But I think a lot of it was just the coaching staff led by Zimmer. Just they weren't really interested in developing the young guys, and then you don't do that, and then guys don't come along, and we don't have depth, and then we have to go sign these free agents, and a lot of them don't work out, and then you're back to doing kind of the same thing this year. As you have a lot of holes. But I think we had a pretty good draft. I don't think we had one of the great drafts in the history of the franchise or the history of the NFL or anything like that. But I think this was a good, solid, B+ type of draft. And I think the negativity, especially from night one, I feel like that's faded, and I hope it has, because I think Kwesi did a good job. I think he got us some good players, and if we've got, let's say we got 4 guys out of this draft class who are going to be significant impact players, well, there you go. That's about even like the 2015 draft, we got what 5 guys who were big impact players. And that's what you hope for, because you never know. But again, I'll wrap this up. I'm just rambling at this point. Too much. I've been watching drafts for too long. There's a lot of time to spend watching drafts, especially when I don't care about 90% of the players drafted. So yeah, good draft. Hopefully we and pick up. College free agents matter, because a couple of those guys make the roster just about every year. So we'll see what they get there, and then of course the other thing is there's still veteran free agents out there for positions if we don't feel like, even tight end. I was thinking, if you wanted to, Kyle Rudolph is out there. You could bring him in probably for like a minimum salary, and help out your tight end depth. But maybe they just like the guys that they have. I think that's why they didn't draft a receiver until very late, because they just like the guys that they have now, and so do I. So good draft, Skull.